Hello there. Welcome to our little shop. Today we're going to talk about a previous video that I had put up some time ago about lock washers. The general idea of the video was to explain to people how many companies have forgotten to actually how to put nuts and bolts together, and explain the use of a lock washer to keep your pots and jacks and switches tight. I never expected comments to ask me to do a video to show how to install the lock washers. I also had one gentleman tell me that he didn't believe me unless I showed him. Some of you people got way too much time on your hands. Anyways, whether you're mechanically challenged or just don't know, don't have the knowledge of it, I'm going to explain it to you. So, lucky you. So anyway, I opened up this little base here this morning to do some work on it, and it's a prime example of what I was talking about. I'd mentioned they either use the improper type of lock washer, or no washers at all, or even a flat washer like this instead of a lock washer, which is the case in this base, that actually used a flat washer on the inside of the base. Now what I do and what I recommend is replacing those with an internal tooth lock washer. Someone else asked me which side the teeth go to. Well, the teeth are on both sides. Okay, it doesn't matter. Just slide the lock washer on, put it back in the cavity where it's supposed to be, and bolt it down. The teeth will grip on both surfaces. So that's a very quick example of the lock washers. I will show you more as I come across them, but this was a prime example. Alright, well, we have another example. As it happens, I was doing a pickup swap and a setup on this Jackson. I believe it comes out of the same factory as the Ibanez that I was working on yesterday I showed you, because we've got the same route here for the pocket for the pots. Anyway, what I wanted to show you here is I was talking about how they would stack up flat washers as a spacer. See, this doesn't do anything other than make a spacer. So what I'm going to do is replace these two washers with an internal tooth lock washer, and it will actually grip onto the body and the control here. It's also going to do another thing for us. The knobs, see, flip it over here to see. The knobs are actually rubbing here on the body. So that'll drop this more toward the front, give us a little bit more height, and hopefully the knob will clear better. Second thing, I mentioned we're using a nut on the output jacks. So what they've done here is they've run a nut up here as a spacer, but left it completely loose. There's no washer here. It just goes against the jack plate, and then the washer nut goes on the outside. So you have two nuts here to come loose. So the better thing to do here is run this all the way down, tighten it. Okay, the jack is so cheap it just spins. So we're going to be getting a jack on this too. Anyway, so what I'm going to do there is do the same thing. I'm going to put another jack in it. I'm going to use a spacer if I need to, which is going to be a nut, and then we'll go from there. I'll be back with this. Like I say, it's a very fluid situation. Things change at any time. You never know what you're going to come across. So, anyway, be back. Okay, we've put a new jack on, We've cleaned up some wiring here. This pot being loose here is one of the things we're talking about. Like I say, it still has the original 2 stacked washers underneath it. Another thing I want to mention here, the reason I twisted these wires, is this kind of gives you possibly a little shielding, wraps the ground around hot. This shielding paint is not shielding paint, it's not conductive. I saw the same thing yesterday in the Ibanez base I was working on. Actually, I ended up shielding it. We're not shielding this one, that's not what the guy brought it in for. But just another heads up, guys, this is fake. So anyway, what we're going to do here is simply just slide our lock washer on, reinstall the pot, I just finished up all my fret work yesterday for the week. I cut off my fingernails, so I can't pick up anything, so it takes me a few minutes, guys. So okay, there's an installation of a lock washer. So anyway, there's that. On this one, we're going to do the same thing. We're not using a spacer. The reason I had to replace the jack was actually this barrel was spinning inside here and you could not tighten it up. If you tried tightening up, this whole supposedly supposed to be riveted area and there was turning. Same deal. I even had a nice black washer and nut for it. And see, you can tighten it up from the outside, it'll hold itself in grip and not spin around. Again, same thing. Ooh, we had 3 on this one. That explains why it was rubbing so bad. And for you that's already thinking it, this is not going to short out to the painted cavity because, well, like as I already said, the paint's not conductive. And just for fun, knob doesn't rub anymore. All right, so there you go. That explains that. I'm going to go ahead and get the pickups in this and move on to the rest of my daily work. But there you go. There's some lock washer information. I'm sure we'll have more shortly. Okay, well, I didn't think it would take long to find another example. So here's a loose switch, and if you tighten it up, it won't make a whole lot of difference. It'll still spin. So let's pull this apart here real quick and see what we've got. Uh-huh. Just as I expected. Get it off there. Little flat washer. Reach over here in my stash. Tooth lock washer. Ta-da! That will hold much better. So there you go. That about covers it. I have shown you loose pots, loose jacks, a loose switch, and showed you how to install a internal tooth lock washer. So I hope this actually clears up a few questions. So until next time, play nice. I'll see you later.